Good morning. My name is Gaylor. I'm sure that most of you know me. I'm the manager of Patrol Services, your security provider, we hope. Um, I'm here with my weekly webinar on security tips. This week we're going to be discussing home security. And this is probably going to be a three-part series as opposed to just one little webinar because home security is a passion of mine. So we're going to touch on some of the basic stuff. We're going to look at, first, we're going to look at alarm systems. We're going to look at camera systems. We're going to look at access controls, your doors, your locks. Then we're going to look at your gate systems. My all-time favorite, dogs. I love them. And signage. Believe it or not, signage helps as well. So we're going to start with the basic stuff, doors and locks. We're looking at your doors for your home. You should look at two things. First, what is the door protecting? What is it stopping access to? For instance, your front door should be steel, fireproof. This is the first line of protection for persons getting into your home, and it should be sturdy. I see a lot of these doors these days with those glass panes and whatever else. That's nice. I just could take a rock and throw it through your window and open the door. But I mean, hey, I go for looks. Of course, you would want to make sure that the door can withstand the attempts by persons to get in for 5 to 10 minutes. This is invariably all the time that you need if you have a good alarm system. If you don't have an alarm system, of course, you need to look at reinforcing your door some more. The door frame should be steel as opposed to wood, or so that, again, it's going to decrease the access time. Or my apologies, it's going to increase the access time and it's going to decrease persons getting in. You should also look at your door jobs. Door jobs, that's the interior of the door, that's where the lock goes in. You want to make sure that those are, you have the right equipment, the utensils there. And you can go into any good hardware store and get some assistance in that, or to a locksmithing company. They can provide you also with assistance to that. Another thing, your lock. I have seen some really cheap locks. And I wonder about that a lot. I go to a home that's valued at maybe $300,000-$400,000, and they have a $20 door lock. Like, really? You really are doing that? And they're surprised that the guy came and picked it. What you want to do is you want to think that the lock that you're going to get should be able to last for approximately 5 years. You want to change your locks every 5 to 10 years. Some people don't do it at all, and this is fine, I guess. But what you want to do is you want to make sure the mechanism is working fine, and if you maintain it, it should be perfect. And by maintaining it, I said oil it. That's oiling it. WD-40. I'm putting WD-40 and all these other good lubricants in it. For a very simple reason, we live in a very high salt climate in the air, and it corrodes the locking mechanism. So sometimes the lock doesn't really push all the way forward, and it doesn't lock into place. And so where you would think that your lock is actually locked, it's not. Somebody could just actually put a little job and push it right back because it's not, the deadbolt is not in place. Now, that's your front door. Your rear door, you should have all these same equipment. But if your door is going up into a fenced in or secure yard, I would not go through all of the extra expense of getting a steel door. I would get a very strong hollow core door or cord door to make sure that it can withstand some type of forced entry. If you have one of those French doors or whatever else, you need to make sure you have the proper latches installed. These are the latches that go across, and you can just latch them, as well as the locks. You also want your windows. Now, I know a lot of people have the hurricane windows, and that's all fine and well. But these windows can also be locked down, okay? And you need to look at the locking mechanism on the top. There are various things that can be done for that, and you can look at those as well. And also the windows that slide across, they can also be locked into place. Besides the regular latch on the top or the side that holds them in place, there are other mechanisms that you can put, which are fairly inexpensive, like $4 or $5 for maybe a pair of two, which is all you need for a window that can lock them down. And then you want to secure them. Your interior doors, most people with the bedroom doors, the little lock that comes with the house, with your contractor puts in, you usually leave. I wouldn't do that. I've changed all my locks, basically for the simple reason that, again, your doors are going to provide you with some added protection should an intruder get into your house. You want to make sure that you make one of your rooms a panic room. Um, Most homes are in the Bahamas are not built with a panic room per se, but you can turn a bedroom into a panic room fairly simply. All it means to do is changing the door frame and the door itself, so allowing making it very hard for persons to get in. So make one of your interior doors a steel door, steel frame. Put deadbolts and whatever else on it. All the equipment that is going to make it fairly hard to get in. You want to make sure that in that room there is a dedicated cell phone that's always on charge. It always has maybe $5 on it that you don't use for anything. You also want to have light, flashlight, baton, mace, um, all these in a little pocket, a little area in the room that once you can get into fairly quickly, you can lock your door, you can make a call, and you can do what you want to do. All right. The room should also, the windows, of course, should also be very secured as well, because this is going to be your last. This is going to be your last place of refuge. If somebody was to get into your house and break into your house, you want to be able to run into that room, lock down, make a call, keep something that on hand, and if anybody actually does get into it, you can, do something to defend yourself. And make sure that your kids and persons in your home understand that this is the place to run to. When persons break into a home, there in the front room or in the kitchen area, usually most homes that I've been into and the layout in the Bahamas is that you have to go through one of these areas to get to either a front door or a back door, and so it's almost like a dead man's trap. If somebody's in those areas, they're going to wait for you to come out. If they're not going to wait for you to come out, they're going to be trying to get out of that area as well. So you want to make sure that you safeguard yourself. Again, this is done by doors, locks, and these type of mechanisms. Next week, um, we're going to be discussing alarm systems, and then probably the week after that, camera systems. And then we're going to go into the safety concerns of your home. Your smoke detectors, those type of things, your fire extinguishers. So we want this to be a very informative series. We want people to understand that your home is your sanctuary. It's your castle. That's how I look at it. And I tell people, you're not going to leave your castle undefended. You spend all the money on your business or whatever else, and you leave your home undefended. This is where you go to sleep. This is where you should feel the safest. I'm not saying go create a prison. I'm just saying do things with a little bit of common sense. It's not expensive. You can spend about $100 on most of these things. As I said, you could go to any hardware store and buy a lot of these things, and you can almost do it. It's DIY. You can do it yourself. Um, um, DIY. I love that show, by the way. And another thing that we're going to be discussing when we talk about the safety and all that good stuff is your insurance. I always talk about insurance. You need insurance. It's viable. You lose an item and you lose something. And this is just a very cheap plug for my good friends at Insurance Management, because nobody does it better. And so, hey, they sponsor us, so we're going to sponsor them. So, again, we look forward to your questions. We look forward to anything that you want to ask. I'm always open.